So all your ingredients are already weighed out for you, but you need to put your strong bread flour into a mixing bowl, but you need to take out a tablespoon of flour and just put it in another little bowl or cup and save that for dusting or if your dough gets too sticky later on. You then need to add your sugar and your yeast, which are also in the pack. And then you need to add some salt, just half a teaspoon or a pinch of salt from home. So the flour is what gives the bread its structure, and you use a high gluten flour to make it nice and stretchy. The yeast is what makes the bread rise and produce the carbon dioxide bubbles. The salt gives it a bit of flavour, it helps stretch the gluten, and the sugar gives the yeast a bit of the food it needs to work. And then just give this a mix. You need to gradually add 100 to 120 millilitres of warm water. So I add half and then stir it and keep repeating with a little bit of water at a time until the dough comes together. You might not need to add all of this water, so if you just keep feeling it with your hands, seeing if it's coming together into a soft dough. If you do add too much and it gets too sticky, just add a bit of your spare flour. And then you're going to place your dough onto a bench, adding flour if it's sticky, and you're going to start the kneading process. What you're doing when you're kneading is you're stretching out the gluten strands that's in that flour. Be really stretching and bringing the dough back together. You're not pushing down on it, you're not hitting the dough. It needs to be stretched for at least 10 minutes. The more you knead, the softer your bread's going to be. I have fast forwarded this bit so it looks like I'm not doing it for very long. After you've kneaded it, you need to just pop it back into your bowl. You can cover it with just a clean tea towel or some cling film. You need to leave your dough to rise for at least an hour. It needs to double in size. So this is where fermentation happens, and that's when the yeast to feed off the flour and the sugar to produce some carbon dioxide and ethanol, which is the smell you can get from the bread dough. So for the bread buns, you need to preheat your oven to 220 degrees Celsius or gas mark 7. If you are making a different recipe like the pizza pinwheels, you need to check the recipe on class charts and that'll tell you what you need the oven on for those. Once your dough has doubled in size and you can see that it's expanded, you're going to take it out your bowl. It will feel quite sticky, so you can either use flour again or sometimes oil works quite well if you don't want to dry the dough out too much. And you are going to re-knead that bread just for a minute or so, and that's called knocking back. And it's getting rid of all the uneven air bubbles that you've got, so it just makes them a bit more even. And that is your bread dough now ready to make whatever you want to make, whether it's bread buns, pizza, the cinnamon swirls, pinwheels. So if you are making the bread buns, you need to divide your dough into 4 equal pieces, and you just need to shape those so that you've got 4 equal bread buns. If you just keep pulling the dough around with your hands like I am in the video, it smooths out the top. Then you're just going to pop those onto your baking tray. If you like a softer bun, it's sometimes nice to rub a bit of oil on top. Then put your oven gloves on and you're going to put those in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. Bake them until they're golden brown. If you're wanting to make a plat, you need to divide a piece of dough into 3 and make 3 sort of like sausages with that by rolling them between your hands. Once you've got the 3 equal sizes, you need to pinch the ends together to start your plat. Then you just go left strand to the middle and then separate them out, right strand to the middle, left strand to the middle, right to the middle, and so on. Then if you just tuck the edges in and again put that on your tray and bake for 10 to 15 minutes. Then if you bring your buns out with your oven gloves and test them by tapping the bottom, they should sound hollow, and then they're baked. So you can pop those on a cooling tray if you've got one. I like to put a clean tea towel over the top of them, and I think that helps them go a bit softer.